because I can't wait to talk about this. Awesome. Got it.
One, a two, a three. I'm your host, Sully, and here with me is Robb from Real Sharks Podcast,
What's going on, everybody?
the savior of cult, schlocky, and gruesome cinema.
Thanks for having me on, Cam.
Don't late. So I guessed it on Robb's show, I want to say probably a few months back, and just to make this Christmas episode in time, I was like, you know what? I need just a backup, just in case we get a no-show, or just in case we get just some other just thing. I just know that he's gonna probably like this because it's just his kind of just crazy, just like what on earth is going on,
I'm just happy to be thought about, But yeah, thank you. No, I love this. Yeah, well, if you were picking this for me, you definitely got the right film because I freaking loved it. I won't lie.
Oh, anytime. And
even though it's it has a bad rating, sadly, I thought it was great.
Oh, totally. And I mean, no one's going to agree on which one is their favorite, but I just knew going in, okay, it is kind of a trashy movie franchise, but it was always kind of like one of those, I never saw it at any video store, but I would hear about it on the internet, kind of like Prom Night and Sleepaway Camp. It was one of those like it didn't, and this was before we were bursting through the bubbles. Like, well, eventually you are going to see some of these, whether it's shown on one of the movie channels or just something. And the reason they have this kind of this following, I think, so, but why do you think they have a big kind of following? Is it just because you expected this from kind of Vestron? Is it because of Brian Usna, Reanimator, and the dentist fame's kind of involvement with the latter two? But why do you think these have kind of
probably because originally, like, when you asked me to do this with you, I was watching it and I looked up the history of these films, and first of all, like at the time when
one was banned,
yeah, it was very, very controversial. So generally when you do that to something, people are going to want to see it more. Again, I take like Cannibal Holocaust into that. The more you take it away, more people want to see it, and I think it kind of has such a horrific aspect to it, turning Santa into this like serial killer. First of all, I think it's effing genius.
Yeah,
because like and it's a movie in itself too that doesn't take itself that seriously. I mean, the first one anyway. The rest of them are kind of weird, but the first one definitely you can kind of see them playing into like a lot of this. Like, yeah, we know this is a little corny, but what I like about the movie especially too is like it is horrifying to children, and that's what actually I heard it got banned for, is because people were roaring and rawing about, basically they were showing ads for this movie in between, like I think they said like Melrose Place, basically some family oriented shows, and kids were starting to get terrified of Santa Claus, so they're like, we can't have this. And it's like, it's Santa Claus is not even like anything to like and I'm not trying to get religious here, but he's a mythical figure. It has nothing to do with any kind of religion. So people were getting really offended about this. Like if you were saying, right, like if you were saying Jesus had a hatchet and was killing people, and it was like, no, it's Santa Claus. And the premise of it, I think, is absolutely horrifying. But here's the more mundane kind of comical part. And no, I'm not making fun of anybody with PTSD, but this film is ultimately about a guy who is suffering from PTSD from this event. It was like if Batman seen his parents get murdered, and then he was like, I'm just gonna go on a killing spree because someone was like, here, the guy who murdered your parents is dressed like Santa Claus, so let me put you in a Santa Claus suit. It's like this movie actually, funny enough, reminded me almost of the Joker, like how we don't really care about mental health, but it wasn't really about that. It like that was not even in question. Like that premise, our audience is not even, they're not playing on that. But that was just kind of
more like The Purge and what have you. And this one is interesting in that, it's.
I'm just talking about the mundane comical overall of this poor guy having PTSD and being put in a Santa Claus outfit, and all of a sudden he goes on a killing spree.
And for the longest time, horrific. I thought with the sequel it was supposed to be the same guy, and he somehow survived the gunshots. And no, it's his brother who you barely see in the first one. That kid on the
the back seat.
Yeah, on the back seat in the freaking, I think in the ward, we're supposed to believe it's his brother. I thought it was, yeah, well, that's a lot to bring in. But yeah, I mean, so I knew about it because of the, garbage day, YouTube
Yeah.
videos surfacing. And I
But
did listen to a Great American Movies podcast where they interviewed the actor Eric Freeman, and he had
mm,
just hysterical, just behind the scenes trivia, have all these other B, Z grade guys were supposed to be the lead, and he got it instead. And
yeah.
oh
And
man,
it's interesting because the whole, let me get to the whole meat and potatoes of the whole film though. It is really interesting, and it takes a lot from traditional slasher films. You have, but especially the whole, as you can see how this guy progressed into being this like guy who basically turned into a freaking serial killing Santa Claus because he's not only traumatized from this experience with his
yeah,
family, in which a Santa Claus, pretty much tries to rape his mother, but then slits her throat and then kills his
oof,
father.
yeah,
It's very brutal. And funny enough, too, it's a Santa Claus who just robbed a liquor store, and that's what makes it even, to me, a little bit more funny, even though it's a tragic event. It's just like, oh yeah, that's horrible. But then, the kid goes to an orphanage where he is beaten basically for seeing sex done between the staff of an orphanage.
yeah.
It is basically kind of everything. It's almost like the let's talk about Kevin if Kevin became a Santa Claus. It really is about like this how can we turn this kid into a serial killer in the beginning of this film, because every like tragic thing that can behold this kid is happening from like, you know, being naughty, being seen fornication, being a dirty boy, and then him having all these thoughts and stuff to where he's just absolutely traumatized from his time in the orphanage by none other than, I might add, its Mother Superior, which I think is absolutely hilarious, of a great name. And this woman is just, she beats the boy for seeing something that her staff was doing, which was absolutely hilarious. Um, yeah, I'm gonna totally use the word hilarious. I don't care how many people are like, "That's not funny." No, it was, because this, this,
Well,
this, every
yeah, it's
every
so many
horrific thing.
things they're trying to make us, you know, figure out, and it's just like, so what is it trying to be? Be careful what you wish for, monkey's paw kind of tell what, and then it kind of almost feels like a typical slasher, and then by the
Yeah,
end of the third act, it's pretty much almost kind of, it's almost from around that same time, almost kind of like William Lustig's Maniac minus the, you know, organized over the top. This now you're just like, I really don't know what to
absolutely. And
think.
I'm actually gonna say that is a trend in all of them. I would say in all of them, because I got to watch
Hmm.
most of them here, and that seemed to be a trend. And happy you pointed that out. That's a very good point, because a lot of them seem like they don't know what they want to be at some point here, whether they want to be a traditional slasher or, yeah, more of a monkey paw, or even kind of
Later they
like,
become creature features, and you're like,
right,
so
or like a
how did that
dramatic
come about?
film like Last House on the Left. I mean, I even got that some aspects of it, of Last House on the Left, during some of these scenes when he's like seeing this horrific stuff. It's like,
Definitely Last House.
so
Yeah.
gruesome, you wanna look away. But I definitely thought the first one, though, I think is definitely a classic. I think the first one, you can't get away from how utterly brilliant I think it is. I mean, I I cannot tell you how much I think this is like, and I always, of course, look at today's standards of things, and I know you can't sometimes, but it is hilarious to think that you thought that was insane. You should see stuff now, but it
Yeah, there's stuff
really,
now where it's like,
yeah,
it's amazing how
and
everyone protested when they saw this, a tit slip
it's
that you can
and they
show.
re-edited it a few times too, which is interesting. And it doesn't seem like they like really had too many gruesome parts. Like, it wasn't like some of the other films
I think it
we've
was the
watched
assault
together.
scene. It was just too
Yeah,
much, and
and
they
for
repeated
Santa Claus.
about five times. So then you're just like, whoa, whoa, what's going on here? Oh
But
man,
yeah, I like the first one. Honestly, I know it gets a bad rating, but if I had to give the first one anything, I would say
we love trash.
I thought it was good. I thought I'd give it a thumbs up, man. I thought it was a good horror film for a good classic. I mean, there of course it's been remade twice, I believe, a few times actually, in different aspects as well.
Yeah, the remake's surprisingly pretty a totally different kind of animal. And I'm
It's
already a
yeah,
fan of Stephen C. Miller's various B actioners, but that was interesting in that he kind of went for kind of more of, I know it was before Krampus, but kind of just a typical kind of 80s kind of horror comedy. And like, it was just interesting in that, basically, that like they just kind of just go more with, hey, he's already on a rampage going berserk. Let's stop him. And just the actors were all having fun. They've all gone on to other B movies, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, I think I can understand this because, I mean, with the first two, you kind of almost get, dare I say, a Patrick Bateman from American Psycho film.
Yeah. So yeah, if we're moving into the second one, Silent Night 2, Deadly Night Part 2 is interesting because
Classic.
so this film it's weird. And you know, for the first 40 minutes of this movie, it's like a giant recap, I thought.
A recap and a psychological
really
kind of thriller is like, whoa,
yeah.
You want to know my favorite color? It's almost like they're doing I don't know, Cuckoo's Nest.
Right. It's a lot of recycled elements of the first film. And, you know, of course, this is his brother who was traumatized after his Billy's murderous rampage. And basically, he becomes a serial killer himself. And what I thought was interesting, first of all, like I said, a lot of recycled elements from the from other horror films, as we were talking about. It definitely has like almost like a Jason-esque kind of feel here, but more or less too, I thought the film didn't know what it wanted to be for a while, and it was basically like a serial killer, like a slasher serial killer film with almost like a motorcycle fetish with it. Don't forget the motorcycle fetish in it, because
motorcycle fetish, and the director and was also the editor, and the producer kind of went back and forth. So Eric Friedman noted that he was constantly confused because they kept giving him two different stories, like, you know, the editor kind of wanted more over the topness, and the producer's like, hey, just be a little more restrained. Just don't. You're kind of making us kind of chuckle, and Freeman, you know, he's kind of trying to do both, but you still just can't help laugh despite his dedication because it's just very over the top.
This one is interesting, and you know, I have to say, I still thought, like, of course, after the first 40 minutes, it was actually a pretty interesting film. The umbrella scene was insane. When he like sticks the umbrella through the guy, I loved it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And I thought that was great.
The guy in the phone booth is apparently the director / editor making a cameo. I didn't know that.
And then he also got him with those with the car jumper cables.
The guy's eyes explode. It's not as graphic as you think it is, but
we can't forget though, Cam, and this is our audience, the best part of this whole freaking movie was, so, you know, his whole aspect in the second one is to basically get revenge, basically to finish what his brother started. So of course, what does he do? It's a glorious end because he goes after
anyone
Mother
who
Superior.
Even just as soon looks at him the wrong way, he is going to go out and kill him.
But he goes after Mother Superior at the end, and the part where basically Mother Superior, head.
Yeah,
that LOL, everybody.
It is wild. And even just the shootings in general, I almost wonder if half the producers of like every other Death Wish falling down or relentless type movie just, you know, was watching this and was like, we need something like this to fill up video store shelves with.
That'll be the shocker at the end right there. The head scene. God, I'm telling you, that's what they were saying. Because that was good. That was a good out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they made this one to fill out the shelves, because it really does. Like I said, the first 40 minutes is like
this still played at theaters.
It's funny too. It almost reminded me of like a Godzilla film. It's like, let's just take elements from the original one and like kind of just put it in the first half of it. You know, make some stupid guy still there. Like, I remember when Godzilla, and just have a flashback from an older film, and then we're like, oh well, it still counts as runtime. But yeah, that it was definitely you know, and it's funny too because it definitely reminded me. And the next one is actually more like that, but it definitely had almost, and I'm not saying there's any correlation between the two. I'm just saying sequel wise, they were equally like, what the WTF is this? Was the Nightmare on Elm Street the second movie? Because it's like, WTF is this? This one was kind of like another WTF is this, even though it had an interesting ending.
That's a good way of putting it, because it does want to recap you, but it's not a prequel story necessarily. It's
right.
Oh man. And what a way to revamp it. Is like, we got nothing else to tell, so we got to spend some serious time having this guy kind of imitate the manicness of the original actor. Well,
really ponder it.
It's like, it might as well have been the Same person.
So, you want to move into the third one because the third one was
yeah, I'll move into the third one, but yeah, just part two, like just when they go ape shit and just all the cops are like, "Don't do it," and then he ends up just shooting them after faking them out with the suicide warning is just like craziness. But while these may not be irresponsible movies, they know what they are at the same time, and at the same time they go berserk, and that kind of adds to the entertainment. It's almost like a Night of the Demons thing. It's like you can love it for how silly it is versus how fun it is versus how it's a bit too much of everything, and that, but it's charming, so you just take it in, flaws and all. And I mean, yeah, when we get to part 3 here, it's almost kind of like the Wishmaster films where it's just like, well, let's just not do anything even remotely
balls
related
to the wall.
Yeah, let's take what could easily be a USA Network, Lifetime, or Skinamax movie, and apparently that's what it aired on some of those channels like Joe Bob or TNT.
Really? That's hilarious.
So, yeah, part 3 is like, let's do a psychic serial killer movie. Let's have Robert Culp make having to piss jokes. Let's have random interconnected stuff shot in
some chick that looks like the girl from the Labyrinth in
it. Labyrinth.
She did. She looked just like her, dude. I actually had to double check. I was like, "That's not her, is it?"
That's not Jennifer Connelly. No.
I had to check. But this one was weird, man. I mean, weird. First of all, I don't know whether they had. I don't know, because it reminded me of two things, and I always like to mention two things a movie reminds me of. One is it reminded me of when I first seen the return Brawley, the third movie of Brawley, where Brawley's not even like anything. He's just like a slime, like almost like Swamp Thing. It's like that's not even him. That's what this one was like. But then it also reminded me a lot of like, I wonder if they kind of got elements at this time to like, hey, let's just kind of go out there like Dream Master and the Dream Warriors from Nightmare on Elm Street series, because it kind of got really weird like that for a moment. And so, you know, because this one, of course, is about like, you know, Ricky Cardwell's actually the serial killer. He's kept awake in a 6-year coma on like this life support, but it's not just life support, ladies and gentlemen. He is literally like if he was named Dr. Brain, and he basically has his brain in like a floating like cesspool above his head. I mean, the stereotypical thing you can think of a man with like a jar of his brain on his head, it was that, and it was pretty great. And I mean that in a complete sarcastic way.
He literally, he has a brain. He is almost like Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls. He is naked and exposed, and then to cap
using
it off,
ESP to get a hold of this girl to basically make her like bring her to him or something.
Yeah, and it takes you a while to realize it's Bill Moseley, who's been in all the, you know, horror movies, Devil's Carnival, Texas Chainsaw, and Rob Zombies, and Carnival, and just like, whoa, that's him. That's why he looks familiar.
You know, I didn't enjoy this one like very much at all, actually. I thought this one was kind of
it's kind of a discount, just random slasher
Halloween
on TV.
Halloween 3. You know,
there you go.
Let's just make some movie about some candy factory and shit. You know, it's like, what are we gonna do? Oh, there you go.
And because it's so goofy, that makes up for what otherwise would have been, wow, that was anticlimactic. But yeah, and part 4 is even more confusing because like they
let's go ahead and move into that.
Let's move into it. So they claim that there's stock footage of the psychic gal, but I didn't see her anywhere, Laura.
The fourth one, man.
Last one was like Wait Until Dark knockoff, and this one is more of a just there's slashers out there and it's a death cult. But yeah, I mean, I'm already familiar with Brian Usna, what he did later on, like Faust and
it happens definitely like almost like a Rosemary Baby element. If like, you know, the main chick was like the baby.
An Argento film,
it was weird. This one I did not like. I tried to watch it. I won't lie. I tried to watch this one.
No, that's all good.
It was a little. It was so out there. Like it was out there. I actually enjoyed the next one more than I enjoyed this one.
No, it's all good. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it as a feature, but it was also one of those, I'm like, because of how it doesn't really show half the shit, and it's kind of, Usno was always kind of like discount Sam Raimi. Let me do some other just wacky effects, but it just changes in tone. So it's a total 2 a.m. kind of movie. While part 5, when you get to part 5, I mean,
we're just in no man's land.
3 people who, were in the last one. I had my notes.
Toys killing people.
Yeah, the female lead, and then Lonnie the kid, and then Clint Howard as Ricky, the crazy guy who's got all the bugs and everything. They return, and like you say, Mickey Rooney is in this. He was like the most outspoken critic of the first one, but he didn't know that this was a sequel to that movie. He had outcried, and I don't know why anyone cares.
It was, though, it reminded me a lot of I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's the episode with the mannequins from the Twilight Zone. It was very kind of
like... It does feel like that. It feels like
reminiscent of that in a very
looking
creepy...
for a produced by Full Moon or Charles Band.
Right.
Because it's...
in a very weird, creepy Bicentennial Man kind of way.
Bicentennial Man meets Puppet Master meets...
Right. This is creepy. This one I liked a lot more because it's like more kind of on the nose. And I'm like, cool, we're here. I get where we're at now. And I'm totally down with it. We're already in like a totally different world than the other one. We're not talking about a serial killer Santa Claus anymore, but I'll go with this. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like they're all robots or Santas or some other things.
I'm a big fan of Batman's like the toy maker and shit like that. So like, this I'm cool. I'm cool with it, dude. I'm cool with it. It's like, all right, cool.
Killer
it's like
toys.
Killer toys, man.
It just needed Tim Thomerson playing a sheriff, and it would have been absolute gold.
Right. Overall, though, man, I thought the series. I'm glad you asked me to do it with you. I thought they were really, really interesting. I thought they were entertaining, very entertaining. And from the people, like I had people that were watching these over my shoulder here, going, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching these because I'm gonna be doing a show on them." And I was like, "You want to watch it with me?" My buddy's like, "No." And I was like, "Why?" And because he always usually watches with me. He's like, "Looks cheesy as hell." And I was like, "Well, it totally is." I was like, "But you know what, man? I said, what I'm gonna do next Halloween?" I said, "I'm gonna totally come as dressed as Santa Claus." He's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "That'll horrify the kids." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "But I'm gonna put a little blood in my beard, And he goes, "Yeah, I'm sure you will." And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "Why not?" I think that's a great horrific costume to have on Halloween, is to be dressed up as Santa Claus now, man. We're gonna bring this back. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know about Cam. I can't speak for Cam, but I'm gonna bring it back as being a Santa Claus. As a scary
I will
thing
do that.
on Halloween.
I will go as Eric Redmond, and you will go as Santa Claus. Perfect.
Because I thought they were they're charming films. That's what I thought they were. In their own right, they're charming.
I'm going to just proceed with caution. If you're going to get the updated Shout Factory Blu-ray produced by everyone's pal Jason Beam, just get them really, really extremely discounted, and have plenty of pals who can watch junky movies with you, because you're gonna watch them probably once, and like you said, or maybe you'll watch them a few different times, but proceed with caution. You don't know if you'll like it or not until you sit down through it, and it's hard even by the YouTube clips. It also depends, because the YouTube clips, they were just junky VHS things. The music sounds so different in the first two than on a YouTube clip, which is probably an old VHS discount DVD print, and so, you can watch them on Tubi. That's probably the most ideal way if you just want to see them but not spend a dime.
We mentioned the remake. They did make the remake in 2012, which was loosely based off of it. And I have to say, if you want to talk about that one, I'm down to talk about that one too. I actually did watch that one as well for this.
Okay, sweet. Well, what are your first thoughts? It's kind of simple.
It's pretty simple. Like I said, it's more of a probably more based towards the police perspective of chasing a guy dressed as Santa Claus, killing people. It is so loosely based off the original. You don't even have to. You could call it basically anything. They could have called
Jamie King
Killer
from the Escape Plan and Sin City movies. You might know her as Mickey Rourke's girlfriend who gets killed, and she's the. I can't remember. She's the deputy. She's definitely not the sheriff.
No, she is. Yeah, she's the deputy.
She is the sheriff.
She is the sheriff. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said.
No, she's the deputy.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure she is. But yeah, they're just it has a very like Fargo type,
I was about
you
to
know,
say
Fargo type, you know, because it's about a small town where Santa Claus is just basically running around killing people on Christmas Eve. I
yeah,
mean, that's pretty much all it is.
no
And
description available.
yeah, that's all I can really tell you about it. I mean, it was decent. There's some cool action scenes, you know, there's some, you know, haha moments, but beyond that, it also had Michael McDowell. He's actually the sheriff.
That's what it was. Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
there. He's not wasted like other times where you've seen him, where you're like, this could
No,
have been
he's
played by
actually
any British actor. Yeah,
yeah, he's used a little bit in this film, and you know, like I said, it wasn't bad. I mean, this one, I would say if you're watching all the other
comfort food.
ones, definitely pop this one in to be like, you know what, I want to watch a revamp reversion of it. Like, you know,
Yeah, it doesn't
what
have
are the
any
kids?
junky
What would the kids
CGI.
see it as now? And it's like this is what all the kids are watching here.
I think they take it as a typical kind of Die Hard Gremlins
It
kind of
is
Christmas movie, but at the
right,
same time,
exactly.
yeah, it doesn't break any new ground, but it's just fun. And
It's
that's what
fun.
Steven C. Miller's always been about. He did a similar movie, which was like an R-rated version of Home Alone, called The Aggression Scale. What would happen if a
Yeah,
kid went around with a shotgun and just, fought back, was prepared to fight, intruders, and,
right.
and he's done some other cool shoot 'em ups and just spy movies, and I don't know what he's working on next, but I applaud him. But this was kind of cool because he just flirted with the horror genre, and
Yeah.
he kept it simple. It is like
It is. It's like a simple. It's not
David
really
Harbour's
even
got a new
horror. It's
movie
like
coming
almost
out.
like a guy literally going around just massacring people dressed as Santa. It's a big shoot 'em up almost as Santa.
Oh,
It really
totally.
is.
Do you feel like that's what that David Harbour movie that's coming out this year is kind of inspired by?
I'm not sure.
Oh, let me look it up. You probably have seen it,
Let me
like the
see.
trailer or promo, but no, it's called
The new
okay.
Silent Night.
No, it's not a new silent. It's just a similar kind of movie. It is Violent Night.
Violent.
A group of mercenaries attack an estate of a wealthy family on Christmas Eve, and this guy who's Santa Claus must step in to save the day. And it's
Oh,
by
Jesus.
Universal. So
Oh boy, and John Leguizamo's in it. It's, you know, I can already tell you right now, our audience and David Harbour, this is going to be an Academy Award winning film. We're calling it now. This is going to take home everything. Just right now, just calling it now. You know, just going to take it home. This is when they call every award this season. This is the film they're going to call. You're going to hear about this one.
Good. I personally like Leguizamo, whether it's a good movie.
Oh, I don't mind John Leguizamo, but let's be
movie.
honest. Well, he's actually making a comeback now, John. I'm not trying to be mean. I know I asked you to come on the show. Anyway, I'm not trying to be mean, but you know, he's actually making a comeback, and I've always loved John Leguizamo. I think he actually gets a bad rap a lot.
I think it was just the
things.
Pest and Spawn annoyed a lot of people. So
Well, he pulled a Ben Affleck. Before there was a Ben Affleck, there was a time where he was just in everything, one after the other, after the other, after the other, and people get sick of seeing someone so many times. I mean,
he got out of the gangbanger roles fortunately early. He just lead his way in Empire, and then after that, it's like, okay, we're not going to have you be the gangbanger anymore. Now we're going to have you be the best friend, or just comic relief, or the detective, who comes in.
Yeah,
I think when he
I'm actually watching with TV
here, stand up but yeah. Okay. This trailer is just kind of, I've only seen parts of it, and it is pretty wild, Violent Night, but I'm sure I will be aghast if I see an interview and the filmmakers of it say they haven't ever seen Silent Night, because I mean, someone had to, whether it's a producer or what,
Yeah. No, Cam, I just saw Santa Claus come to the chimney, eat a cookie, and now he's getting ready to, kick ass. I mean, that's, like I said, this is taking home the gold, bro. Dude, he's got a magic bag. Oh shit. I'm telling you, Cam, this is gold. Okay, I don't want to spoil it, so I'll stop the trailer right here because
theater.
Oh, he threw a shuriken in that guy's face.
A shuriken. I guess it's a Red Band trailer. So theater visit or home video?
Probably home video.
All right. Oh.
Being honest, man. I mean, come on now.
That's fine.
It's Santa Claus throwing a shuriken in someone's face. I don't know. I can already tell you right now, that's the kind of movie my boy would come up to me right on Christmas, like December 2nd, and be like, Dad, I want you to go take me to see that film. And I'd be like, damn it. That's definitely one I'd probably end up seeing. But I'd probably wait for it to come on home video. But man, it looks interesting. It looks like probably another version of the Meg, a really high budgeted B movie. That's what it kind of looks like to me,
That's
though,
so
right off the
true.
bat.
Yeah,
You
Escape
know,
Plan, The Meg.
yeah, that's what it is.
Even
Being
every
honest,
other serial killer movie, half the time, when you would see it, you couldn't tell. Is like, was it made for HBO? Was it made for theaters? It's tough
right?
to tell when they're both cost 10,000 to 2 million in that time with people who've been doing it since the 80s.
Being an honest movie critic, it looks like nothing new.
Oh, yes, the Big
Yes.
7 knockoff.
Yes, another cheap B movie they wasted.
Right, like there was never a market for it during the 60s and 70s. It's like, okay, there were other movies besides Seven. Guys.
It's like the Meg, it's like, oh God, how many giant shark films have there been? Oh, there's only been.
Oh yeah, I mean, every other detective movie nowadays seems to just be a noir tribute, and everyone's wondering why it's so basic. I'm like, yeah, because they're literally referencing 40s movies they grew up watching on Turner Classic.
But
yeah,
all right, man. So that was fun.
Totally. What are you doing for Christmas?
Christmas? Nothing much, man. Well, I'm staying here. I'm probably gonna
special movies you're watching.
I'm not sure what we're Christmas special wise. I'm gonna probably make the guys probably. I want to probably do a movie for each day of the month of December. I think I want to do that kind of like our shark exploitation special, but literally I'm probably gonna make my guys whip them and be like, you all choose a movie and you're gonna review that movie. I don't care if it's like, a romantic film. It has to be Christmas related.
And it has to be on the day when you say it's gonna be on the day.
Yes, exactly. It has to be on that day. So it's like I want it to be like almost like a play by play. People are gonna like when you're opening chocolates, I want them to be on YouTube doing this. I know I'm not that special.
I'm gonna rewatch movie 2.
That's what I'm thinking. Just something fun like that. Not maybe add some horror in there too. I'll probably throw this one in there and be like, I'll probably be like, make sure you watch this episode from when me and Cam did it. But I'll definitely throw in 1 or 2 horrors in there. I'll be like, just to change it up a little bit.
If anything, just show the best of clips when he's just finally just like guts the cop at the very end.
Because let's be honest, I mean, if I was to do every single movie, I mean, I was already thinking about it. I was like, God, okay, I know there's a lot of Christmas films out there, honestly, but if I think about it, God damn, how many Christmas story movies? I'm telling the guys too right now, you cannot do the Christmas. You can do the Christmas story one time, and you guys all have to pick the story. Yeah. That's it, one time. Just because I'm not, you could say we could all agree it's gonna be the Jim Carrey animated one or one from the old one to something. But one time, we're not counting all these remakes. That's not gonna happen. And then I'm gonna have to watch some movies, man. I didn't really care for that everyone loves, because I feel stupid that I hate these movies. I don't hate them. I just, I don't watch them. Like Polar Express. It's not that I hate the film. I never really cared. Just never.
And it gets tiresome if after a while.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so but like that happened.
But like one I really want to add to it is like Ernest Saves Christmas because I loved that film when I was a kid.
I saw it. It was on Disney Channel every holiday, even when it wasn't. Yeah. And it was just like, wow.
Okay. Oh yeah. That was a Christmas special for a long time for me, man. I think the first one I'm probably going to do because even though it is so cliche, I will not lie to you. I think it really does behold the meaning of Christmas. I want to see if you want to guess what it is. It's actually going to be probably Charlie Brown's Christmas because I think that is like probably a good one to start off with if you're really trying to get the true meaning of Christmas and shit,
really?
The way I learned it. That's what I would say is Charlie Brown because he tells that whole story about Jesus and everything and what Christmas is supposed to be about. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. And it's like we'll go from there. Then we'll get into like the romantic films and all that kind of shit and Die Hard.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make the guys do a jingle like on the 3rd day of Christmas, my true love bring to me Die Hard. But yeah, man. I mean, there's so many other cliche
Psych
Christmas
trilogy
films.
You could have the Psych movies.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to. But hey, they're there. Like I know I'm gonna be and the guys are probably gonna leave me with the shitty ones. Like I know I'm gonna be watching all the romantic trope ones too.
Ooh, yeah, tap out. Yeah. I'm sorry. I love something in the restroom. I gotta.
Yeah, dude, because I know like there's one that they did recently with Danny from Game of Thrones. I forget what it was called, but it
Oh
was
God.
yeah, I'll probably end up seeing that one. That's my idea, but we're also probably going to be doing God, dude, at the time with us, you're only an hour ahead of me now, huh?
For now.
For now, until for how long?
Until it resets again.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because we're gonna be doing and like because my buddy's setting it up, he's writing it right now. We're gonna do a Real Sharks D&D. So
Oh, nice.
We're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, online. With
Nice.
dice, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do a D&D special where we basically just play Dungeons and Dragons and people can watch us. And we're gonna do that, and then I'm probably gonna do. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Planet Dinosaurs or Planet of the Dinosaurs. It's on YouTube. It's a really old film I used to watch when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. You're
Oh yeah,
talking
dude.
way early.
Oh, dude, I reviewed it a long time ago when I first started doing this show, and I want to do a watch along and just kind of like with the guys and just sit this free on YouTube and sit there and just like make fun of it, dude, because it is fucking great. I think it's a great film. So that's probably my schedule here, but I also want to get our Cannibal Holocaust thing done too because let's do
You
that.
know it, my dude. We will get
Let's
it.
do that next, okay, with me and you, all right? And
Anytime.
we'll schedule that out. I'll let you know next week here what I can do, okay?
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
stay safe out there and
You
keep
too,
jamming.
man. You too, man. And have a good Christmas if I don't see you, dude. And you be
Oh,
safe
oh,
too.
oh. Oh, I just got
We should
shotgunned.
we should both tell each other that we should both have safe Christmases
The
because knowing
only
our luck,
time
we're
that
gonna get fucking mugged by Santa Clauses.
right, the only time that home invasions are legal.
Yeah, and the only other time too, we show trees who's boss, by cutting them down, showing the other trees, demonstrating them like, this is what happens.
Nice.
All
Oh,
right,
man.
buddy. I'll catch you later, man.
Wish you the best, my dude.
You too, man.